Hi, this is Rohit from careersprints.com, and we like to produce videos that help you with your professional development and continuous learning. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Now in this video, I want to talk about how risk is managed in a project that uses an agile approach. But let's first define what a risk really is. A risk is an uncertain event which can have a positive or a negative impact on project objectives. Thus, risks can enhance or diminish the benefits derived from a project's product. Now to begin this video, I want to draw your attention to a statement from the Agile Practice Guide. Now according to the Agile Practice Guide, high variability environments by definition incur more uncertainty and risk. To address this, projects managed using adaptive approaches make use of frequent reviews of incremental work products and cross-functional project teams to accelerate knowledge sharing and ensure that risk is understood and managed. Now, in a nutshell, one of the first things to understand when you read this statement is that agile approaches are best applied in environments with high uncertainty. And to mitigate risks that come with highly uncertain environments, agile approaches use the idea of fail early and fail fast. Thus, agile approaches use frequent reviews of increments produced at the end of an iteration to check if it meets the needs of the business and the market, which can also include an evaluation of risk. Now, there are several reports supporting the advantages gained by using an agile approach to manage small, mid-size, and large product development efforts. Let's look at this quick picture that shows how risks decline in an agile project as the project progresses in comparison to a waterfall method. Now, the reason for this is because unlike agile methods that review done work in short intervals, waterfall methods prefer to have a testing phase much later in the project, and thus discover major issues much later in the project. These issues, when they come up, they can result in rework that results in more investment of time, effort, and cost. Now, to understand how risks are managed in Agile, let's look at an example of a framework like Scrum. The Scrum Guide doesn't really spell out explicitly the way risks are addressed in Scrum, but the events, roles, and artifacts of Scrum enable transparency, inspection, and adaptation that help with risk management. For example, Scrum defines 4 events, namely sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, and sprint retrospective. Each of these events enable risk management. For example, during the daily Scrum, teams meet every day to review work done so far and address impediments. Impediments create risk, and teams meeting daily for 15 minutes enables quick inspection and adaptation to risky situations arising out of such impediments. Next, during the sprint planning meeting, teams evaluate which items to pick for the sprint based on its risk versus its value. So risk-related discussions do happen during the sprint planning meeting as well. Sprint reviews are also an ideal occasion to discuss product, technology, and business-related risks with stakeholders. Sprint reviews are more than just product walkthroughs or walkthroughs of the finished increment, but they are also a forum for stakeholders and the Scrum team to discuss any product-related risks. Finally, sprint retrospectives allow team members to talk about any risks or issues that previously impeded the team from achieving the sprint goal and the steps they can take to remove such risks in future sprints. During sprint retrospectives, teams can discuss process, people, technology, and the definition of done, all of which are different facets of a project that could pose a risk. Additionally, when teams do product backlog refinement on an ongoing basis, they may discuss product backlog increment related risks and how to reduce them. Now, in addition to these events, even Scrum artifacts enable the management of risk. For example, Scrum teams have a commitment to ensure that the increment meets the definition of done. Now, the definition of done sets the quality criteria for the increment, and having a stringent DoD ensures product is of high quality that reduces the risk of customer dissatisfaction when the product is in production or is being used by customers. Next, the product backlog is maintained by the product owner, and the product owner prioritizes the backlog based on risk versus value as factors. Product owners might not want to choose a risky item to build in their sprints. Finally, Scrum teams take into account risks while creating their sprint level backlogs and while managing it on a day-to-day basis as well. Now, as you can see, following a framework like Scrum presents several opportunities to address risks in Agile projects, although it is more formally defined in a predictive style project. Now, let's look at 2 points of difference between Agile and predictive projects in the next 2 slides. Generally, predictive projects will have longer timelines, and longer timelines create more risk. Agile projects, on the other hand, have shorter timelines and even shorter iterations that enable them to evaluate and eliminate risk more frequently. Next, testing is a separate phase in a predictive project carried out after development work is completed. Although some amount of testing might have been done during development, since acceptance testing is done only at the end of the project, that results in late discovery of integration issues. On the other hand, Agile projects have a preference for doing acceptance testing in each sprint and allow multiple releases to happen per sprint as well. Thus, integration in Agile is more frequent, and for advanced Agile teams, integration can happen even daily. This results in addressing integration and acceptance-related risks more frequently. So there you go. I've just explained how risk management is carried out in an Agile environment. Also, quickly before you leave, I wanted to talk about this free PMP virtual class that we conduct a couple of times in a month. Now, in this free class, we actually pack a lot of useful information that will help you with cracking the PMP exam in the first attempt. Some of the information relates to the changes that have been made to the exam in 2021, any books and resources that you can use to prepare for the exam, any pitfalls that you can avoid while preparing for the exam, and obviously all the steps that you need to take to get this certification in your first try. In fact, we also teach one chapter from the PMBOK in this class. So if you're interested in this class, please go ahead and register using the link in the description below. Also, I wanted to talk about this Udemy course that we have created on the Agile Practice Guide. Now, greater than 50% of the PMP exam is now Agile, so understanding the Agile Practice Guide becomes super critical for your PMP exam prep strategy. In fact, this is the only course on Udemy that is based on the Agile Practice Guide, and it has razor-sharp focus on what you need to know from an Agile perspective for the exam. So use the coupon code in the description of this video and get this course at a discount on Udemy. Finally, I'd also like to make an important announcement. Very soon, we are going to have an in-class workshop that talks about the PMP exam psychology. In this class, we'll help you develop the mental muscle that is needed to tackle tricky questions in the PMP exam, just like a pro. This workshop will be for 10 to 12 hours, and we'll help you develop the right mindset to crack this exam. And we are going to do this at a cost which is going to be extremely reasonable. So while we are working on the web page for this class, if you're interested in it, please shoot us an email at info@careersprints.com and we'll send you over the information about this class and how you can join it. Thank you so much for watching this video. We wish you all the best for the PMP exam.